Okay, good afternoon, good morning, and welcome, guys. It is a beautiful 7 a.m. GMT plus 2 right here in December. It is the 27th, and if I'm not mistaken, today is Wednesday. So listen, massive shout out to every one of our brand new community members. We have a ton of new community members. I think we have additional 100 members that have joined our social area just in the last 2 or 3 days. So just massive shout out. If you're watching us live, in the comments, let us know where in the world you're watching us. Tell us what you're up to. Let us know how your December has been. How was Christmas? And a Merry Christmas if I haven't wished you already. So guys, we have a ton to talk about this morning. There's a ton we're going to get into, and it's going to be a ton of fun. Now, because we have a few new members in the community, I wanted to start off this morning with really walking through our social platform, right? How it works, what is available to you. I actually was speaking to an existing member last night, a member who's been part of our community for a couple months as we launched the new social area last, let's say, 2 months. And they were unaware we had some really crazy, powerful features that was available in the social community. So I want to run through just really quickly what are the basic functionalities that you need in order to navigate and successfully use our social area, right? There's obviously been something that's been in the pipeline for a very long time. We're super proud of it. So we still have Trump busy doing his thing from our last live session. We obviously smashed gold in that live broadcast. So when we talk about live broadcast, what do we mean? Right, you'll see if a live broadcast or broadcast is scheduled, you'll see it come up here, X amount of hours to essentially being available. Now, I'm showing this to you on a web browser. If you are on your cell phone, it may look a little bit different. You may not have this little side area here, and you would just have this center area here behind me. So let's start off with the basic navigation. Right, basic navigation would be, we've got these tabs over here, right? So we have this option over here, switching communities. This is if you have access to Premium Plus. This is how you switch between the free area and Premium Plus, right? That's right up there. On the desktop browser, you'll have messages, you'll have notifications, then you'll have your profile, which you can go update, change your profile picture, add your bio, etc. Now, the place you're going to spend most of your time is sitting in this tab over here, right? Community will basically be all of the discussions that we are having at any given point in time, right? Now, if you wish to just separate and just look at signals, you just want to look at signals, you don't want to look at all these other items, you can then filter by just Drippy Pips signals, right? Drippy Pips is our signal service that looks for market opportunities based on the strategies that I teach and then provides a signal available to you. Now, if you don't have the app already downloaded, you can go to the Google Play Store, the iOS store, and download the school app, SKOOL, and you can enter your credentials the same way you registered for the DVDM markets platform. Those same credentials, your email address and password, you can put that on the school app. You can see everything you're seeing behind me, and you can get notifications when we issue a signal. So you can go filter the community chat by general discussion, news, competitions, and everything else, right? Markets discussion, shout out, announcements. So you can go and filter just to make it a little bit easier for you to navigate, right? The next most important area is going to be the classroom. So when you're getting started, you want to do two things. In the community area, you want to introduce yourself, right? Which is over here. You can go ahead and click that post. You can copy this template, right? Where you're from, how long you've been trading, etc. And you can paste that down below and introduce yourself to the community. And obviously a massive shout out to everybody who's brand new. And Keegan, thank you for the beautiful introduction there, comprehensive. We know a little bit more about you, and that's what it's all about. So the first thing is going to introduce yourself. Second thing is jump over into the classroom, which is this tab over here, and you can start the learning process, right? Start here. That's where you kind of start, how everything works, what is it available, what is Premium Plus, a TD Markets Q&A webinar. When you get to level 2, you can unlock that. And there's some amazing things that start to happen here. From a learning perspective, you want to start at part 1, and that's going to be an introduction of Forex, what's the history, where did money come from, etc. Now, what is the free area and why did we build this, right? If you go have a look at any car dealership, right, barring Ferrari and a few others, you can go and look at a car you really want, and you can go, awesome, so I'm very interested in this vehicle, I would like to take it for a test drive. And you can get in the car, you can drive it, you can feel it, you can ask questions, etc. But you get to experience the real thing. And that's what the DVD market's free area is all about, right? Is you get the live broadcasts, you get the signals, you get the education, you get the start and the feel of it, but you don't get the full unlocked comprehensive experience, right? You get to test drive for as long as you want. If you want to test drive for a month, for a year, you are welcome to do that. But the second you say, this is home, I like what they do here, I'm understanding, I'm learning, I'm growing, that's what Premium Plus is for. So when we look at the free area, you're going to have limited access, right? You're going to see part 1, part 2, part 3. And by that time, you should know if our level of teaching and our style of teaching suits you and if you're understanding and learning from that, right? That's the most important thing. If at that point you then go, hey, this is all making sense, then if you click on any of these other ones, that'll then take you to the option of Premium Plus, which is less than $1 a day. And you can subscribe there and you get unlimited signals, unlimited live broadcasts, unlimited education, etc. That's really what that's about. So the classroom is really for you to learn. The calendar area is for you to see where all our live broadcasts are happening, right? So if we go have a look at this calendar now, we can see that right now there's pounds for breakfast. Later on, there's dollars for lunch for Premium Plus members. Tomorrow there's pounds for breakfast, and then Friday it's pounds for breakfast. So if you're in the free area, you can plan your life. You can even go as far as clicking on that and adding it to your calendar, right? So it'll pop up in your calendar. The link will be there and you can sort yourself out that way, right? So super, super simple. Next up past that is going to be members and leaderboards, etc. So we talk about members, we talk about leaderboards. What do we mean here? It means that when you get to different levels of engagement, so when you comment, when you like, when you share, and we encourage this because that's why we've built the social community. When you do these things, you get points. And when you get certain points, you upgrade yourself and you have access to different things at certain levels. Basic example, right? When you upgrade to level 2 adventurer, you then unlock the live webinar of myself and the CEO of TD Markets discussing the difference between brokers and why it's so important to have an STP broker. And this was our original meeting before we even announced that we are going with TD Markets. So you get to really dive deep and understand some beautiful things. And level 2 is super easy to unlock, right? So we can see in our leaderboards, right? And just a massive shout out to Khomoto. Sydney is already number 1 for this last 7 days. So just a massive shout out there. We have Frank, as always, doing the most. And then we have hot on his tail. We have Samuel, and we have Garwin. Number 4. So for the week, we can see the most engagement of who is pushing the most. Tumelo, for the last 30 days and all time, has really been pushing super hard. Asam, right in the beginning, was leading and then dropped away. Then we have Rufus, I call him Rufchua. So yeah, we're able to see the leaderboard, who's contributing and who is doing the most, right? That's what the leaderboard is all about. And you click the about area, you'll be able to get more information about what is DVDM Markets, what do we do, etc. And yeah, just a massive shout out to all our new members. I think about 100 new members have joined us in the last little bit. So that's the functionality, that's the navigational. It's super, super simple. Again, if you download the application, it just makes it a little bit easier to navigate. Again, if you don't get the notifications for the signals, when we drop a trade, when we drop anything there, you may want to go into your phone settings, go into notifications, apps and permissions, and allow the school app to be able to give you a notification. Okay, now let's jump into the markets. Just again, massive shout out if you're with us for the first time, you're a new member, much love. Let's just have a look here. I can see MG79 looks like a new member. It says watching all the way from Cape Town. Massive shout out to you. I see Frank, we see Nashil Singh, and we see Petunia. Beautiful stuff, as was Garwin in the house also. Garwin is early today and asking if the show had started. It is live. So if you're watching me right now, you are live. If you're watching this after the fact, let us know where in the world you're joining us from. There's no harm. Now, there's a lot to speak about this morning, some exciting market opportunities I really want to speak to you about. And we're going to start off with gold, right? Actually, let's do it a little bit different. Let's start off with crypto. I'm seeing a lot of people ask me about crypto in the last few days, people buying crypto, people getting involved in crypto, asking for advice. And I remember everything we do here is for educational purposes. Nothing is to be taken as financial advice. Everything we do is to entertain you, to inform you, to keep you up to date, and ultimately, to empower you, to understand what's happening in the market. Nobody can take you for a ride. Nobody can take you for advantage. So let's jump into it. All right. So we're going to start off with crypto this morning. I'm going to do a little bit of a basic recap, right, of why it is important, why it's relevant, and why you need to pay attention as a trader in this, right? So here's 2012, right? The start of crypto, the boom, where everything started to happen. Now, can you imagine 2012, 2013? That's 10 years ago, right, guys? What were you doing 10 years ago from now? Because that's when crypto started its boom. That's when everybody started to really speak about it and the potential. So here's 2012, right? We see a spike, and I want you to pay attention to this, right? Often, people ask me about analyzing markets and, do we have this golden ball? Do we have a rope around our stomachs? Are we going to a mountain? And yes, we pray about these things. And yes, you can have visions and you can, be spiritually led in the markets, but we're not seeing a single moment. We're not rubbing a glass ball. We're utilizing past data and what's happened to make future predictions and probabilities over what's happened. Let me show you why and why this is so important. 2013, we started to get that interest in Bitcoin. Now, this is Bitcoin on a weekly time frame. So every candlestick here is a weekly time frame. Bitcoin started, made that first impulse, right? And basically peaked out at $1,000. People freaking out that this digital thing peaked out at $1,000. And then what happens? We see Bitcoin deteriorate, right? Bitcoin retraces. Most importantly, the word retraces comes back down to what? A known fib level. What's that fib level? Let's go double check. Would you believe it? It's a known fib level 88.2, right? And then Bitcoin starts its journey. Now have a look at that previous trend just behind my face there. Look how that gets dwarfed on the 2017 move. What happens in 2017, right? Bitcoin starts that bull movement, which already happens in 2015, and climbs from 2015 all the way from $221 all the way to really getting serious momentum at $2,000, and then just absolutely rockets, right? At this point, people are freaking out. People are selling their grandmothers. People are buying this stuff. And unfortunately, they're buying it too late. They're buying it at the peak, right? And what ends up happening? Bitcoin then ends up retracing. We get a pullback. What happens, right? That retracement is, oh wow, who would have believed it? That math and Fibonacci and the fingerprints of God is real. We see a pullback, what? To the old known 88.2. It dips below 88.2, granted, but the ultimate support here is sitting on the 88.2 fib level. What ends up happening here? We see it make another stretch. The hype is still real, right, guys? Prices have come down. People have rebought. This is just volume and late entries into the market. However, what we see happening is markets move. Now, just pay attention to how the first one was this massive spike. Everybody's freaking out. Second one is even bigger. Even more people are freaking out. Truth be told, what happens? We get the third, right? And what happens? Everybody's freaking out. Bitcoin hits 68, almost $70,000 per coin. My friends, if you're sitting in South African rand at that time, rand to dollar, that was well over $1 million rand for this digital currency, this coin. All right. So what happens? Prices spike, pulls back, people freak out. There's momentum, it pushes again, and then ultimately we get a pullback. How many of you want to guess where the pullback happened? I'll let you guys guess, but let's have a look. Would you believe it? Holy smokes, 88.2. How can this be happening? Right? How can this thing do the same thing 3 or 4 times in a row? Now, Warren Buffett often, when he's asked about his investment practices, says, people ask, what's your secrets? What Ray Dalio, perfect example. People say, how are you able to, what's happened in the past will happen again. There's nothing that's ever going to happen in the markets, in the world, right, outside of technological advancements. There's no patterns that are going to happen that haven't already happened in the past. It's just a matter of finding it, right? So we can see there, Bitcoin came back down to that 8.2. Who would have known? And where are we right now? This is where we are right now, right? Bitcoin has started that corrective movement, that movement back towards the top side. And what are we seeing? We're seeing that break through a key level, that $40,000 to a coin level. And I've spoken about this in the past, right? We're seeing that push. There's a daily time frame. This is that buildup of momentum. And we're seeing a breakthrough of that barrier. We're seeing that push there. Now, I'll drop down to a 4-hour time frame. I spoke about on the 18th, which is last week, Monday, right? I spoke about, guys, look what's happening in Bitcoin. We've pushed out of this barrier. We're coming back. We're sitting on support. So this might be a good place to buy Bitcoin, $40,000 per coin. Bitcoin went to $44,000. Now, we're looking at a very, very key support area. Every time Bitcoin pushes, comes back to support and then rallies again. But this is also pointing towards a market structure, right? A market formation, right? And for those of you who know, this will be considered a bullish triangle, right? Meaning what's happening here is that we're seeing more and more buyers come into this market, right? And we're not seeing enough sellers. Remember, what's the job of a buyer, right? The job of a buyer in a market like this, very, very simply put, is they've got to these lows, they've got to make these higher lows. That's the presence of a buyer, is making these higher lows. Ultimately, they also want to make higher highs, but primarily their focus is making these higher lows. The job of a seller in a market is to make these lower highs, right? So these highs over here, right? That one there, that one there, and that one there. Their job is to make lower highs. They're not doing that. So when we see a bullish triangle, or a triangle where the resistance level is flat and we see this building up, this is a price action formation that is telling us there's more buyers in this market structure, right? Now, again, if you want to understand fully what these price action structures mean and what's involved, that's where you want to get involved into Premium Plus, right? Let me give you a quick showdown, right? So again, for less than $1 a day, you get access to the full academy. And inside my Price Action Academy part of Premium Plus, I'll go into that video to show you. I break down these different market structures and what they mean, right? So let's have a look here. I'm going to go back a little bit in this video, so we can see here a falling or descending triangle. We start to make these lower highs, lower lows, or flat lows. That's a price action formation for a bear breakout. In this particular case on Bitcoin, we're looking at a rising or ascending triangle, a bull triangle, right? Where there's more buyers than sellers, and this will ultimately, not all the time, but a high probability to have a bull breakout, right? Remember, rising triangle, bull breakout between 50 and 70% of that formation. That again is available to you if you have Premium Plus. You have the full academy, you have access to it. Now remember, the free area is a test drive. You have a fully uninterrupted access point to fully explore what we do in DVDM markets. It's all free. Whether you stay there for a week, a month, or a year, I don't care. It's free until you understand and agree that you understand the risks of the markets, because again, the risks are real, and B, you understand that what we do is of benefit to you. When you have those two things ticked and you understand, then you're obviously ready to proceed and or move on. So very, very simply put, very exciting time for the price of Bitcoin. We are looking at entries. So if we see Bitcoin start to hit those levels, 41,200, 41,300, again, we will issue a signal. And where will we issue that signal? You guessed it, right here in the DVDM markets landing page. You can filter to drippy pip signals, and you'll see that the trade pop out right here where you have access to it. Now, remember, when we talk about the free area, right? A lot of people sometimes get this confused. We provide all the signals for free up and until 500 pips of profit in the free area. Once that happens, the additional trades and indice trades only go into Premium Plus. So you'll see last week, our last trades that we sent out was AUD JPY, right? I think that was Wednesday morning. We already hit the 500 pips in the free area, and then all other trades after that, right? I did say here, right, this will be the last trade in the free group. We have obviously hit 500 pips. All trades after that went into Premium Plus. So Premium Plus got all the indice trades, got all the gold trades, got all the live shows. So again, you get free access, 500 pips, pure profit, and then everything else goes into Premium Plus. Again, if you want to get into Premium Plus, super easy. Go into the classroom, right? Go into the Premium Plus, how to get into it. And there's a whole explanation of what Premium Plus is, what do you get, what's available to you. It's extremely transparent. And then there's a link just to go ahead and click the button and join. Again, less than $1 a day, full access available to you. Now, I'm just reiterating these items for those of you who had these questions, that you understand what is going on. I promised I would address this in this live broadcast. Okay, beautiful stuff. So tons of opportunity on Bitcoin, right? Again, it's showing promising opportunity, not only to break through that $44,000, $45,000 to a coin, but this is also at a point where there's been a ton of controversy around Bitcoin. We've had FTX, we've had Binance shut down, we've had a ton of controversy, we've had a ton of issues within the crypto space, and yet Bitcoin is still showing super strong signs of some massive moves. Now, the next trade I want to talk about, and it's just going to be these two for this morning that we're going to kind of focus on. We're currently looking at about 15 other pairs, 15 other opportunities, but these are the two that I really want to talk about that I think are super interesting. I do want you to pay attention to. So we're going to start off with gold, right? XAU USD. This is on a weekly time frame, and I've spoken about this before, that we've obviously spiked out on 2020. We've spiked out, beginning 2022, spiked out beginning of 2023, and most recently we've spiked into this area. Now, these are all the same area, guys. This is $2,000 to an ounce of gold. Key level. However, if you guys go back and you listen to some of the previous shows, we talk about what is happening with the interest rates in the US and how the Federal Reserve has paused interest rates, created that ceiling. When interest rates were rising in the US, right, if we look at all these spikes, the 2020 spike, the 2022, the 2023 spikes, all of these spikes happened at a point where the US increased interest rates on the dollar, and it made the dollar extremely attractive. These spikes happened, and then we saw prices fall. So a strong dollar would mean gold would sell off, right? Now, if we understand where the Fed is now and where the US inflation rates are now, it means we're at that ceiling. The US has said, Papa Powell said, listen, basically been very dovish. Everything they've tried to do has worked, and now they're looking at pausing interest rates. That's the vote. And with the probability, the high probability of an earlier than expected rate cut for next year. Now, what does that mean? A pause is bad for the dollar. A rate cut is really bad for the dollar, because again, what that means is that the government-backed securities like the US dollar, where the government backs it in bonds and yields, that becomes less attractive to investors because the interest that an investor will get is coming down. So people want to have their money in Wall Street. So a weaker dollar means stronger gold, it means stronger Wall Street, it means stronger commodities, where the dollar is the quote currency. Now, again, if you go back into the academy, I teach you about currency pairs. What's the quote currency? What's the base currency? And that has an effect on where something goes. So if you look at where we are now, we're in the perfect place for that dollar strength. So let's keep going. Let's zoom in, right? So let's look at that last spike there. That's 2020, right? 2020 rejected and fell, right? Have a look at that spike, and 2022, March, rejected and then fell. Right now, the key thing here I want you to see is that we went up to $2,000 to an ounce, rejected and fell. Key observation, right? If you have a look at where we are now, right, what happened beginning of December, we spiked. If you guys remember, there was that one Monday morning where gold just made a gap, spiked a monster $2,100 to an ounce of gold, and then pulled back. Now, generally speaking, right, if we look at the trend we've seen with the price of gold, once we spike into that $2,000 to an ounce range, gold rejects and gold falls. We're not seeing that this time. We're seeing that the rejection happened, yes, but we're still clearly in bull price action territory. After the spike, we did not make a lower low. So from a trend perspective, from a definition perspective, we are still making higher highs, higher lows. What does that mean? We're in a bull market, right? Now, most importantly, I want us just to pay attention to this most recent part of time. There's a daily time frame. I'm going to drop down to a 4-hour, and I want you to see there's certainly some opportunity here for us right now. Again, even on a 4-hour, there's quite a lot of movement happening, and I just want to draw your attention to this moment right here in the markets, just that over there, right? And we're going to zoom in, and I'm going to break this down even further. That's a 4-hour. Let's drop to a 1-hour, right? Just pay attention to, this is quite small now, but it's going to be a little bit clearer in a second when we look at it, right? Just have a look at that little moment over there, and keep in consideration we have this long support that's coming in all the way from the 20th, right? So pretty much for the last 7 days, right, at least the last trading week, we've had the support below us. There's a 30-minute time frame. Finally, on a 15-minute time frame, we're starting to see something here. And on a 5-minute time frame, this is what I really wanted to point out to you guys, right? Have a look at this. Tell me what market formation this is. Almost the exact opposite of what we just seen a little bit earlier. Can anybody point that out? So first one in the comments that gets this, what price action market formation is that? First one in the comments, I'm sending you $100 right now. $100. First one in the comments. Let's see who's going to be the first one to get. I think $100. What's $100 now? $100 is like 2,000 Rand, just under 2,000 Rand. Let's see. Ooh, Garwin says bull triangle. No, missed it. Just the opposite. Bullish market, no, just missed it. Bearish triangle, there we go. Let's see, let's have a look at who got that one there. I think it's Felicizwe. I hope I'm not messing up your name there. Felicizwe. Bearish triangle. Please direct message me. You've got my Telegram link. You've got on school. Even better, message me on school. I'm going to send you, I'm going to transfer you directly after this ends. I'm going to send you that $100 available to you. Now, this one can be a little bit tricky, right? This morning when it was forming, this is what I was looking at. And again, if you want to have a look at what that is, and again, you want to be part of Premium Plus, just go into Premium Plus, register less than $1 a day, go into the price action, get access to the video. And again, what are we seeing? A falling, descending triangle, otherwise known as a bearish triangle. However, this morning, when it was forming, I was actually having a look at this and I saw something a little bit different. I want you to see this. And this is why it's super important to wait for the price action to reveal itself and then be patient. Right, this is what I saw this morning. Right, this morning early on at about 5 a.m., 4 a.m. when I was analyzing the markets, this is what I was busy seeing. Okay, now that was before this formed. Now tell me, once we've got this formation, what formation are we now seeing? Pay attention to the fact that we've got this flagpole, we've got this bunch of market momentum coming, and then we've got this market making lower highs and higher lows. What formation is this? Because this changes the outcome substantially, right? There's no prize for this particular one, but I'll give you guys a bit of a hint here, right? So if we move on a little bit in terms of the studies, right, we then start to see there's a little bit starting to look like a bit of a pennant, right? A bullish pennant here. We've got a massive amount of momentum that comes in the market, building up that flagpole, if you will. And then we've got those lower highs and higher lows, right? Which makes me a little bit suspicious that this was actually a pennant, and just that bit of a market dip there that we saw on the start of 6 o'clock, a little bit of a fake out, right? So I am more leaning towards the fact that there's a pennant. And if this is a pennant, how do we deal with this, right? Do we just trade it? Do we just, take a gamble and start buying it or selling it? No, very, very simply put, for this to be valid, right, all we need to do is break, right, that we are no longer making lower lows. So provided price action sits on support, so 2064, we don't go below that point, and that we do break that 2066, because again, then that market formation is dead. We're no longer making lower lows, right? We're making higher lows and we're making higher highs, right? Which then shows us we're in bull territory. So the team is monitoring this. I just want to speak about it so you understand the logic, you understand our thinking, you understand what we're busy doing. Because again, we're looking at about 13, 14 other pairs simultaneously. So when that pops out, and you're aware why we're issuing that trade and why we're doing that, right? So again, we will be open. The team is working today, which is Wednesday, Thursday, which is tomorrow, as well as Friday. We will then be closing up and then resuming services only from the 3rd of January. So if you're new to the platform, a massive welcome, heartfelt welcome. We've built this platform for you, right? To again, come and test drive, really understand and make sure that trading is for you, that this is something you want to do risk-free. To learn on a demo account. There's no risk, it costs you nothing to start, to learn, to benefit. And if that's a step you want to take, then we suggest diving a little bit deeper as you move with your experience and as you move with your comfortability, right? Our camera told us it's about time to wrap up. So that being said, that's our perfect segue. Guys, I'll see you all a little bit later. Premium Plus students, I'll see you guys in dollars for lunch in our live session. We're going to trade this afternoon, the US session. Outside of that, just a massive welcome again to everyone who's new, and a Merry Christmas for everybody that's celebrated. Obviously for everybody in festive mode, New Year's almost around the corner, a few days time. And then 2023 is done, guys. We're moving to 2024. And remember, everything we've built right now is for 2024. This platform is for 2024. So if you're joining now, you're not late. You are perfectly on time. Outside of that, guys, you know the drill. As always, much love. As always, be safe, trade safe. And until I see you a little bit later, goodbye.